Hi friends. Today I am going to review the book, Executive Resource Management: Building and Retaining an Exceptional Leadership Team, by Robert W. Barner. The Executive Asset. In today's age of human capital, the executive team is an especially important asset on the corporate balance sheet. In fact, some companies spend months and several $100,000s on their recruitment search to get the right mix of talent. More and more, companies find that gaining or losing key executives bears a direct impact on their stock value as investors try to read the performance implications of such shifts in leadership. Executive capability now holds the critical keystone position in the construction of any winning competitive strategy. More than any other factor, capital, technology, or resources, executive competence provides an organization with its most sustainable competitive advantage in the marketplace. Top executives have become a keystone phenomenon because of their pivotal position. Having a top executive team now outweighs other competitive factors, including capital, technology, or resources. The key to creating a powerful executive team is having an in-depth executive resource management system that can effectively link the company's business strategy with its executive ranks. Having such a system is critical for several reasons. 1. In the knowledge workforce, much of any company's assets depend on its executive team's technical and industry-specific know-how. 2. It is critical to keep executives who have good relationships with key customers and who closely understand the company's strategy and abilities. 3. But beware, when they leave, they may take valuable contacts with them. 4. Corporate acquisitions have escalated the talent wars. 5. When you acquire an innovative startup, you try to keep the whole work team so you gain executives with cutting-edge technological skills and lock out new competitors. 6. Having a top executive team is now the most important variable in a company's success, since it is so easy today to copy a competitor's resources and technology. 7. High-level executive talent is scarce, especially in information technology and human resources management. 8. This is apparent in international operations, where you need executives who deeply understand their local culture and have strong leadership skills. 9. Executive talent is also important because today's work environment is so unpredictable and fluid. 10. When companies go into unknown territory, they need a good corporate leader, much like ships have an even greater need for a skilled navigator in uncharted waters. Assessing your executive plans. The Human Resources (HR) Director carries the primary responsibility for creating and maintaining this top executive team. Think of the HR director as a team architect, who designs and builds the team. Traditionally, HR directors were talent procurers and compensation administrators. But now they must have top leaders in keystone positions. In an age when a company has the ability to mimic its competitors' resources and technologies, effective organizations recognize that one of the best ways of distinguishing themselves is by promoting the presence of high-performing executives. As an HR director or anyone else in charge of making sure your company has a good executive team, you have to assess the abilities of your current team. Modify your company's leadership pool accordingly and identify areas of vulnerability, in case you lose key talent or don't gain new needed talent. The recruiting, hiring, and developing of executive talent represents a heavy resource investment on the part of any organization, and exerts a decisive impact on a company's ability to compete successfully. You can use an executive resources matrix to evaluate how well your company is doing in creating and maintaining a top executive team optimally suited to company needs. Review this matrix with your senior team and assess where your company stands. This process has 3 basic stages. Stage 1: the firm has little executive development. Your company is mostly focused on responding to short-term work pressures and has little concern with how well executive capabilities fit with your company's strategy. Stage 2: your company has some investment in developing executive talent but no organized executive development approach. Stage 3: executive development is optimized. Your company can develop a top executive team and its executive development plan is fully integrated with its strategies. An executive resource strategy serves as a coherent plan of action for focusing your investment efforts to obtain the best overall mix of leadership talent. Measure your progress in developing your top executive team based on these 5 dimensions. How well your executive resource strategy is linked to your business strategy. The degree to which your company has made an investment in executive development. The degree to which senior executives want input or executive ownership of the executive resource system. The degree to which the HR system and senior staff members have developed an integrated HR system. This involves working together to determine the needed competencies for a top leadership team, using a disciplined assessment process. The degree to which you have used real-world anchoring, or action-oriented learning approaches to examine the skills that executives need to meet everyday work challenges. Super Execs in 13 Easy Steps. Pursue these 13 basic steps to create a top-notch executive team. Develop an executive resource strategy. Link your strategic plans to executive staffing requirements and gain senior executive support for your executive resource plans. Conduct a baseline review that measures the success of your strategy based on real criteria. Did you get input from key organizational stakeholders? Did you assess competency based on quantifiable data? Establish parameters for make or buy decisions. Consider your hiring acquisition decisions. Do you want to draw your talent from the best performers in your industry or go outside your industry? Then consider the transition process. How fast do you want to strengthen internal leadership? How slowly do you want to introduce change? Uncover emerging business requirements. Anticipate your company's future leadership needs and notice evolving business conditions that might change the way you recruit, select, and develop leaders. Conduct a strategic planning review, including a scenario forecast and business analysis. This analysis includes summarizing business objectives and accountabilities, identifying anticipated challenges, specifying assumptions, determining implications, and troubleshooting your analysis. Identify executive leadership competencies. Select the leadership competencies that are most important to your company and determine the appropriate blend of executive talent needed to keep performance high after a merger or acquisition. Develop a 6-step competency model. 1. Review templates. 2. Conduct focus groups. 3. Construct a tentative model. 4. Conduct individual interviews. 5. Determine the competency breakout. And 6. Present your findings to the CEO and senior team. Assess executive capabilities. Examine the unique developmental needs of individual executives and look for high-potential internal talent. You can use a number of approaches, such as single-rater and multi-rater evaluations or 360-degree feedback, which rates a person's performance on 6 critical behavior measures to assess leadership competency. The behaviors measured are strategic thinking, organizational impact, team building, project management, problem solving, and sensitivity. Evaluate your leadership bench. Look for any damaging holes in your leadership team and determine what types of executive competencies are needed to expand in new markets or launch new products. Evaluate your business requirements and your executives' capabilities. Ask such questions as, do we have the international marketing capabilities needed for global development? You can create a 360-degree profile to assess and compare each executive based on predetermined criteria, or your senior team can conduct an annual evaluation of executive-level talent. Manage executive transitions. Determine the best timing and the inherent difficulties of these transitions. Prepare an executive transition plan and timeline, which consists of preparing the initial draft, troubleshooting the plan, and conducting a team review. Consider ways to ease the transition process, gauge the organizational trauma, and find ways to contain the political fallout. Build executive competencies. Teach your executives the most effective ways to coach and mentor their staff and try to anticipate future development requirements for executives based on trends in your industry. You can use 5 best practices in this process. 1. Use action learning to link development activities to real-life work experiences. 2. Use job simulations to increase learning. 3. Use formal mentoring programs to give executives the support and coaching they need. 4. Use corporate and academic resources to expand on your own developmental resources. 5. Use distributed learning and cyber tools to additionally expand your firm's knowledge base. Forge an executive development strategy. Link your development objectives to your company's business strategy. Link your development approaches to your company's structure. For instance, Create a chart on which you list your strategic business objectives, developmental learning objectives, and related development efforts. Your comprehensive executive resource development strategy should link your development objectives and business strategy, match your development approach to your organizational structure, match development plans to levels of learning agility, create developmental learning systems, evaluate leaders' commitment to leadership development, and develop for the future, including a potential global focus. Plan for succession. Develop a succession planning process that will help you quickly fill any critical vacancies on the senior level. Identify the most appropriate successors after an organizational merger. Start with a baseline review of your current planning, and then gain senior team support for the scope of your succession planning. Develop leadership profiles and include the input of candidates in the selection process. Uncover exceptional talent. Look more closely at the job requirements needed as the organization changes rapidly. Consider how to most effectively use executive search firms and set up a recruiting process to attract exceptional executive applicants. Select the right players. Identify talented people who fit your organizational culture. Determine how suitable executives are for international assignments, and look for potential problems when you assess executives. Have solid on-board plans for new leaders. Set up a program to get new executives started on the right track. Eliminate the mistakes that sometimes occur during an executive startup period and quickly evaluate how well newly hired executives adjust. Retain star performers. Find innovative ways to keep your top leaders and prevent competitive raids. Examine the reasons why executives may leave and then develop a retention incentive plan that is part of your company's overall competitive strategy. Takeaways. 1. Today, top executives are the keystone of an organization's success. 2. They are a more important strategic advantage than capital, technology, or resources. 3. The Human Resources Director carries the main responsibility for establishing and maintaining a top executive team. 4. The HR Director is like an architect who creates and builds this team. 5. Use the Executive Resource Matrix to measure your company's progress in creating and maintaining a top executive team. 6. Plan to develop a top team that is fully in sync with your company's strategies. 7. Developing an executive resource strategy is the first step in setting up a superior executive team. 8. This strategy should identify executive leadership competencies and assess executive capabilities. 9. As part of your executive resource strategy, uncover emerging business requirements. 10. The executive resource strategy process also includes managing executive transitions and building executive companies. 11. If you enjoy our content and would like to stay updated with our latest videos, please like, share, and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. 11. Your support means a lot to us. 12. Thank you so much for watching.